guys, this is going to be the tutorial that's going to show you how to make this flower motif shawl. And to make this tutorial, you're going to need, you can use worsted weight yarn, but I found this anti-pilling yarn, which is not always at the store, so hopefully you can find some, but if you can't, that's okay. You can use regular worsted weight yarn, but anti-pilling is supposed to prevent it from getting all fuzzy after a while, so it's definitely great for items that you're going to wear. And each one of these skeins are 273 yards, and I used 3 full ones, and then I had to use a little bit of this 4th just to finish making the fringe on the shawl. So I guessed I estimated about 900 yards you'll need in yarn. So you also are going to need a 4mm hook. For the US, the closest is G, which is 4.25. So it's just very slight difference in size. So it should be fine to use for this project. And you're going to need a tapestry needle to sew, and that's all you're going to need. So let's get started. You're going to be making the large motif, and then there'll be a smaller motif that you'll use to connect in between. And there'll be a few other smaller motifs, but I'll show you how to do those later on. First, we're going to start by making the large motif. And what you need to do to begin the large motif is to chain 10. So get your slip knot, chain 10. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then you want to slip stitch it to the beginning chain to form a ring. Then you want to chain 10 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I have a little tail here, so I'm going to push that along the side so I can work over it. So slip stitch in that ring. Just slip stitch your loop on there. Once you've done that, chain 10 again. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And again, you want to slip stitch it to this ring. You want to do that a total of 8 times. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Slip stitch it to the ring as well. So I have 3 loops, and I need a total of 8. So just keep continuing around until you have your 8 loops connected, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, I have my 8 loops connected to my center ring now. And now we want to, let me get a little closer for this. This first loop that we made, we chain 10. So we want to go up the side. We're going to be slip stitching up the side of this chain because we want to get up to the top point of the loop. So you can go in through this very first chain, or you can go into the second chain. Doesn't really make so much of a difference. So just going to be slip stitching up the chain. If you went into the first chain, you want to slip stitch up 5. But if you skip the first chain when slip stitching, then you want to only do 4. Just till you get to the top, and you can tell if you pull up your hook, so you haven't quite made it to the top. So I'm going to do 1 more slip stitch. So it took me 4 slip stitches to get to the top. And now if I put a stitch here, it'll be at the top, the tip of my loop. So you want to do a single crochet, then chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, we slip stitched up the side of our loop 4 or 5 times, whatever it takes to get to the center. And then once you've made it up to this point where the next stitch would be your center, so it's important to stop before you get to the very center, because the next one is where you're going to do your single crochet. Then you will chain 5. Then you'll find your next loop, which is this one, and then single crochet into this loop, not into the stitch or anything, just into the loop. Chain 5, Find your next loop, single crochet, chain 5, find your next loop, single crochet, chain 5. This is how you're gathering up all your loops. 2, 3, 4, 5. Always always chain 5 after each time you single crochet onto a loop. 2, 3, 4, 5. This is my last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm back up to the beginning again. This is where we slip stitch to the top, and this is our single crochet at the top. So I'm going to go into the single crochet at the top and slip stitch, and that's the end of round 2. So for round 3 we want to chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you want to go into the 4th stitch, 4th chain down from the hook, and do a slip stitch. Then you'll chain 3 again, find the next single crochet over. We're only going to be working in these single crochets, the top of the loops here that we made last round, and you'll slip stitch into that single crochet. Again, chain 7, find the 4th chain down from your hook, slip stitch into that 4th chain, and chain 3. Find your next loop, top of your loop where we did our single crochet, and do a slip stitch. Then chain 7 again. 5, 6, 7. 4th chain down, slip stitch, and then chain 3. Slip stitch in the next single crochet. So you're starting to make these points. And this is the first motif, so we're going to complete this motif all the way. The rest we'll have to stop and connect. Again, chain 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Slip stitch in the 4th chain down and chain 3. Slip stitch onto the next single crochet, and repeat all the way until you get back up to here where we began. This is the last place you'll slip stitch into. Okay, so again, like I said, you'll be slip stitching in this same space where you began this point, your very first point, which is here. Then you'll chain 1, and then you'll cut your yarn. Not too long, just long enough to where you can thread your tapestry needle into it to hide the tail. And I want to show you real quick how I was hiding my tails on the large motifs. I'll come down through here. See, this is the place where we slip stitch to get to the top. So it's the most thickest chain, and it's the easiest to go down to hide. And then I turned it slightly, and I will hide it down my ring. So just go down the side of my ring some. And you pull it, and then loosen it back up so that nothing is being pulled. And then I cut it. And that's how I hide my tails on my large motifs. Now, you're going to be making another one. And for the second motif, you have a total of 6, 7, 8 points. So in the next motif, you want to do all of them except for the 7th. When you get, I guess you get 7 done. So before you finish your 8th point, then I'll show you how to do the connection. So go ahead and remake your large motif. And when you have 7 points and you're ready to make your 8th, I'll show you how to connect one large motif to the other. Okay, I just got done with my second motif here. Not done, but I got up to the point where I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 points, and I'm on my about to make my 8th. So before we do that, we want to stop and connect our motifs together. We're going to be using, every time we did the last round, we chained 7, and then we slip stitch into the 4th chain, then we chain 3 and we connect. Well, when we did the slip stitch in the 4th chain down, we make a stitch here, and this is what we're going to use to connect. When you're ready to connect one to the other, you want to chain 3, find that stitch on another one, and slip stitch, and then chain 3 and connect where you normally would. The only difference is you're not going to be doing the chain 4 and making the loop connection here. This will now share the same one, because you just basically chain 3, you slip stitch into this stitch here, chain 3, and connect. And that's it. That's how you connect. That's how you make all your connections to your large ones. So go ahead and make your next motif all the way into the 7th again, and then you will connect it down. I mean, you're way too close. Then you will connect it down to this one. So, or this one, doesn't matter. Just make sure that you have one point in between. So you'll always be skipping a point. So you'll have a connection here, which is, you have a connection here, so you shouldn't have a connection on either side. You have to skip these, and then you'll be making your connections on this point and this point. Then you'll skip these two, and then you'll have, so only on the outer points. The ones diagonal, here, 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 and here, we'll be using to connect the smaller motifs. So you're only going to be connecting those. So again, make your large motif to the 7th point, and then when you're ready to make your 8th, connect it down to here, skipping these two, just on the bottom point. So when you have that done, then I will be back. Okay, just got done. I'm just got done with my 7 points, and I am ready to make my 8th. Again, I'm going to be making a connection, so you only want to chain 3. And before, I told you, always skip 1. You're only going to be using the point 1s. Again, go through that stitch, pull through, and chain 3. That's always how you're going to make the connections. Then again, slip stitch in your beginning stitch, and chain 1 and cut your yarn. And this should give you 3. And we're going for square. So the next one, we're going to be making 5 connections. 2 connections. So you want to stop at the 5th point. So go ahead and start making your next motif, but when you have 5 points, then stop. Okay, so once you get your next motif where you have 5 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 completed points, and you're on your 6th, you're ready to do your connection. So you need to chain 3 when you're ready to make a connection. And then you find your next point, which is this one, because we're skipping the middle one. Then you slip stitch to connect and chain 3. Then find your next single crochet and slip stitch. Then you want to chain 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, go into the 4th chain from the hook and slip stitch to make your little point. Then chain 3, slip stitch into the next single crochet. Now that's going to make your middle point that you'll be using your smaller motifs to connect with. Now you're going to be making another connection. So chain 3, then find your next place to connect. This is it's always helpful if you find your last connection spot, then you go down 1, skip this one, and then you use the next. Slip stitch and chain 3, and then slip stitch where you did your single crochet. It's always important to remember you will never be connecting two large motifs in two places next to each other. So if you're connecting a large motif and you go to this one and there's no stitch in between, you know you're in the wrong spot and you need to move over one. So that's your 4, and you have your 4 connections here in the center. So now we're ready to make our small motif. And you'll connect your small motif as you go along. To make the smaller motif, you want to chain 3, slip stitch in the beginning stitch, and then chain 2. This will count as a stitch. And then in the center now of this ring, you want to work 7 double crochets. So that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then at the beginning chain 2 that you did, you want to slip stitch in the top of that beginning chain 2 to end. And if you have an extra tail back here, you can just cut it off. Now you can see how it's kind of forming up, it's not flat, and that's what you want. So chain 2, grab your first middle stitch out of these 4 here. Usually when I have it on a flat surface like this, I'll take this first bottom one and slip stitch on that one. Then once you've got it slip stitched, chain 2. And then on your ring itself, you want to skip 1 stitch and then slip stitch into the next. Then chain 2 and find your next connection. Slip stitch onto that. Chain 2. Then again skip a stitch, go into the next. Then repeat again, chain 2, find your next connection. Chain 2. You have to skip a stitch. Look, this one almost looks like it's a stitch. But it's not. If you just pull a little bit, you can see this is where you connected last. So that's not the right stitch. This is the stitch to skip. And then this one is the one you slip stitch into. Chain 2, and then in our 4th connection, our 4th and final one, slip stitch, chain 2, skip a stitch, and the small stitch here where we slip stitched, you'll slip stitch there. Chain 1, cut your yarn. Then you just pull that out to tighten it, and you can see that you now have 4 connected. Now, again, when we're working after this, you've got your first 4 made, we have to start connecting again to the sides. So the first one, you're going to be, we can start here. Since we've got these 2, we're going to be working now to the left. So we want to do a connection here and here on these 2. So you want to make your next large motif, stop at the 7th point, then connect it on the 8th point here. Back to show you how you make your next connection. Okay, so you have your next one done all the way to 8. Like you did before, I should say you're all the way to your 7th point, and then your 8th point, you'll be connecting on to the middle one, the middle point of this one. You can see this is the square. So you just do a single point here. Now, for the next one, you want to go all the way to the 5th, because you'll have 2 connections, one here and one here. Every time you have 2 connections, you'll want to stop on the 5th spike. Okay, so we've connected our single one. Now we want to do our connections for the other two. So I made my motif. Every time you have two connections, you always stop after the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm now on my sixth connection. And it's just easier if you turn it where your points are here. So you chain 3 on your sixth. And then remember, you want to skip this one because you need to have that in the middle. You'll never make two connections side by side, so go into the next. Slip stitch, chain 3. Then you'll chain 7 and make your center point. 4, 5, 6, 7. Slip stitch in the fourth chain. Chain 3. And slip stitch in the next single crochet to make your center point. Now you're ready to do another connection. So chain 3. Find the correct point on this one. Slip stitch, chain 3. And then slip stitch in the last stitch. Chain 1 and cut your yarn. And then again, you will be making your center one again, your center square here. So that's how you'll continue to do it. In the next row, again, you can put one point here, and then you'll have a double connection to connect to this one and then the side of this one that you'll make. So you'll always be making a single, and then as it grows, and then when it gets to a point that you're happy with, then, so like this, for instance, let me back up just a bit. See, this one I actually have like done 4 rows, and then I've done 4 rows this way, and then I'm starting my 4th row going this direction. So soon it'll be 4 by 4. So what I did is I made a square on my large shawl. I did 5 by 6. So I kept doing this until I had a 5 motif in one direction and 6 in the next. And then what I did was I turned it where now this point will be the bottom of the shawl. And then I just started working to where I would add on this side, keep making diagonal ones, and then on this side I would just add diagonal ones, and then it just gradually keeps spreading out. And I'll show you a picture of what I mean. So you will just keep doing that, and when you're ready to start making your fringe, then I'll show you how to do that. First, when you get to the end of your corner, you'll have what looks like, well, that's completed too. It'll look like this. It'll be 2 on the end. So you're going to have to make another small motif to make these come together. And also, all the small ones at the top will be like this. They'll be open. So you're going to need to make a half one when you're ready to close up the top. So there'll be another kind of centerpiece for closing up the 2 motifs, and then there'll be like even a smaller piece that goes here on the end. So let me show you how to do those real quick. Okay, so closing up the spaces on the top part of your shawl when you're ready. This is going to be the part that'll go around your shoulders. So you don't want these big open spaces. So you're going to do a half circle. And how to do those is you chain 3, 1, 2, 3, slip stitch in that beginning stitch to form a ring, and then chain 2, and then now in the ring you're going to want to do 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then the next 2 stitches are single crochets. You'll want to do 2 single crochets worked in this ring. So 1 and 2, and then the chain 2 at the very beginning, you want to slip stitch in the top of the chain 2 at the beginning. In case you didn't see, the top 2 here, slip stitch in that top of the chain 2. Then you want to chain 2. I'm going to cut this excess here. And then starting from the right. If you're left-handed, then you'll probably be starting from the left. You'll slip stitch. You're going to be doing exactly what you did before, except you'll just be doing it less. So you chain 2, slip stitch, and then you'll chain 2 again, skip a space, then in the next, slip stitch. Then chain 2, make your next connection, then chain 2, skip a stitch, then slip stitch in the next. Chain 2, grab your next point, chain 2, and again skip 1 stitch, then chain 1. Then you cut your yarn. So you're doing the exact same thing as you did down on these, except it's going to be less stitches. To get to the end, see this flat part? This is your single crochet, single crochet. You slip stitch, chain 2, do your connection, skip a stitch, and then it's just like you did before. So you'll want to do this half one all along the top, and it'll help even it out some. Now for the very, very corner pieces here, and I have all this on my site as well with pictures. So if you miss something or it's not clear enough. Okay, for the even smaller circles, you'll chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, slip stitch in the beginning stitch, chain 2, and this time you'll want to double crochet 3 inside the ring. So 1, 2, and 3. And then again you want to single crochet 2, so single crochet 1, 2, and then find the beginning chain 2 and slip stitch in that beginning top of the chain 2. Then you want to chain 2 and make your connections. You'll grab these 2 points here. Whoops, there you go. The ones that are the closest here together. You'll want to slip stitch into this one, chain 2, skip a stitch, slip stitch in the next, chain 2, find your next connection, slip stitch, chain 2, skip a stitch, and slip stitch in that last space there. And then there you go. This will be the very corner ones. And this just prevents these big motifs from flapping around. They're more sturdy now that they have. So you'll want to put a small one like this on this corner and then the other corner. So you only really need 2 of these. And then these middle ones that have the 3 connections, you'll have all along the top. And that is it. Now you're ready to put your fringe. Just a second, let me grab my other one. Just wanted to show you. You can make all the different kind of fringes that you want, but this is the fringe that I'm using. They're in like tight knit. But if you wanted to make a bunch of little fringe all along the end, you can. But I really like the kind of ball look, so your shawl will look like this. It'll have 1 on the end, and then 2 on the next, then 3 on the next. It keeps going up. So you know this is your point by now, you know. So You'll be wanting to put fringe in each one of these loose ones. So this one will have 5. The next one here has 3 loose ones, so you'll put 1 in each of these, and so on and so forth. Most of them only have 3. And what I did, you find something, and this is some old receipt book. You find a book or something where you can wrap it around, that way all of your fringe will stay the same size. So what I do is I hold it down like this, then I'm going to wrap it around. I'm going to wrap it around about 15 times. That'll give me 3 fringe because I used 5 strings for each. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to go ahead and do 10. That way I show you how to do it twice. I forgot I'm not keeping this one. So most of them, like I said, have 3. So if you wrap it around 15 times, then you can separate the 5, and then you can do each large motif at a time instead of one little fringe at a time. So once you have them all here, they're all the same length. I separate it 4, 5, 5 here, and 5 in this hand. Set one to the side. This one, fold in half. Make sure that the ends are as even as you can get them. And then using one of the places where you've been making all your connections up to this point, stick your hook through it. Then you get your fringe and you pull it through that stitch. Now you have a loop on this side. Now you want to grab the rest of that fringe and pull it through this loop that you just made. And then, holding the stitch here, pull it tight. I'm going to show you one more time with this one. Making sure the fringe is even. Go into the next stitch here. Pull it through, creating a loop on this side. It's just like when you're putting a marker on your project. And slip that tail through. And then holding the stitch, pull it tight, and that is how you're making your fringe. And you just continue to do that on the sides of your bottom of your triangle. Of course, you don't do it on the top of your triangle because you're going to be wearing that along your shoulders. So that is it. The one that I made is, as I showed you before, 11 by 10. So if you don't want to make it as big, maybe only extend it up the triangle to maybe 9. Do 9 rows of large motifs instead of 10 or 11. It's up to you. Make 9, try it, see if you like it. If it's a good size, then you can go ahead and start filling in the top and the corner with your half circles and adding your fringe. So it's up to you. It's very adjustable, and you can even make this for kids. Just make it, you know, up the diamond as far as you want, 6, 5, whatever, and then check it on them. If it's a good size, then in the top, like I showed you, with the half circles, and add the fringe. And that is it. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please don't forget to click like, and please don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching.